Hello. My name is Raymond Karczewski, and I am a living Christ. This is what a living Christ looks like. He can be anyone. He can be your neighbor. You see, a Christ is not the mythical image of some Superman who was claimed to have lived 2,000 years ago. It was all things to all people except authority, whom he challenged. You see, the spirit of that man is within each of us. We are all potential Christs, but we have sold our souls to the proverbial devil, to Satan, to the god of opposition, the god of dualistic thought, the god who rules over the intellect of mankind, the collective intellect, and the singular intellect that is conditioned by minions of mind-controlling Satanists. Civilized man has lived under the burden of this mind control since he fell from grace, since he sold his soul for the seduction of thought that he too could be a god. He didn't know who he was. He doesn't know who he is today. And that has been going on since the beginning of time. A man has lived in his mind, and the mind is the intellect, is the playground, the arena, if you will, of conflict, power, fame. The violence of the intellect is renowned for imposing its will upon believing people who have never grown up beyond the levels of children, spiritual children. They have been kept as spiritual children by the shepherds, those who call themselves ministers, priests, witch doctors, those who control the mind through storytelling, through myth, through all kinds of fantastic theories, superstitions. Man has fallen prey to these storytellers, and he has given up his ability to be aware of what is around him in the moment of now, that pristine moment that is beyond time. It has no beginning, it has no end. That is the realm of God. That is the realm of infinite intelligence. It is the perception, the direct perception of truth. When one lives in that state of being, of oneness with truth, there is no pain. There is no conflict. No need for medication. A man is aware and awake, and he feels the wholeness of his being. But most of you may have once had it when you were children, but you gave it up. Because fear overtook your consciousness, your awareness, your ability to see life. So you shut down your visual capacity, and you begin to operate on the basis of intellectual capacity. Much like a pilot who no longer flies by the seat of his pants, but by the operations of the control panel. And the control panel guides the plane. That's what's wrong with us now. We have given up our direct responsibility for what we do, what we say, how we treat others, what we think, how we feel about ourselves. And we have given up that part of humanity, that part of the spirit, spiritual being, in return for becoming robots, mechanical, robotic, programmed automatons. We have lost our soul because we sold it. And in return, we have fear in our lives. We have pain, frustration. See, all those things are products of a dualistic intellect, an intellect that is divided, that is separate. Think of a thought, any kind of a thought. What is it? When you begin to look at it deeply, you see there's two sides to that thought. It always is operating in opposites. If you're in your intellect, you are dealing with mechanical images based in memory, based in rote, learned, habitual behavior that you encapsulate as your ego. You begin to repeat them until they become habitual, and you may be identified by your actions. And your actions tell people who you are. They tell people what you are. You are judged by your behavior. And the sad part of it all is that you're not in control of your behavior. Your behavior controls you. And you find that you are susceptible to suggestion that comes from beyond, outside of you. At first seductive and pleasing, it soon turns into pain and frustration. Because you see, in a dualistic mind, you are never whole. You can never feel anything but one half or the other of that which is. You either feel pleasure or you feel its opposite, pain. And sometimes you get pleasure out of pain. That's how screwed up you get. You don't know how it happens to you, it just happens. You don't want to live that way, but you find that you have no choice, that it has taken hold of you, that you are acting automatically when you rely upon the images that you have within your mind that you have not fully understood. So the purpose of life is to return to that direct perception state of truth, to resonate with the unique resonance of holistic being and oneness, energy. That's God. That's what God is. Infinite intelligence. He's not a person. He's not some old man with a beard up there in the clouds that you can pray to. When you find yourself in a position of prayer, do you not find yourself in a position of duality? There is you, and there is something other that you are praying to. So there are two of you, not one. You are not whole. You are praying to an image of your own making or your own belief. And you give that, you infuse that thought with your great energy, and which leaves you depleted, but leaves you subservient. And there are people out there who know how this is done. They're called mind controllers, they're called priests, they're called politicians, bankers, people who control you through the illusion of money. See, money is nothing but a piece of paper. It represents an illusion, an image of your own labor. I'm sure you've never looked at it that way. All you know that it buys you something. A piece of paper, go to the store, give it to the man, and he in return gives you something of substance. And you're satisfied. What is that? It's an act of insanity. We give of our own spirit, our sweat and blood. We labor 8 hours a day, 16 hours a day. For what? For money. To give to whom? To give to those who make the rules and set the prices. It should not surprise you that the prices that are set are always outstripping the amount of money that you have, and therefore you are living hand to mouth, from week to week, from month to month. And you hope that one day, you desire that one day you will be free of all of it. Some people make it. I have made it. And it ticks people off no end when they see a man who is satisfied with his life, because they are not. They envy, burn with envy at such a man. Why shouldn't that man or that woman be you? Why can't you have a peaceful life? It's within your grasp. All you have to do is reach for it and be responsible when you grasp it. It is yours. No one can take it away from you. You must give it up. You see, Satan, the devil, who's real, he's not some physical being, but he's just as real. He is an entity that operates in deception, creates self-doubt in you. And therefore, he has power because you doubt yourselves. But he must do it through your invitation. He cannot walk up to you and just take it away from you. You see, that's too obvious. He must seduce you. He must make you want that. You want the promise that he offers you more than that which you give him. And so you give it freely. And what are you giving up? You're giving up your soul. You're giving up your freedom. You were born into this world a whole human being, but very few die a whole human being. They don't have much left at the time of death, for they have been incrementally stripped of every semblance of self-respect, energy, strength, stamina, stability, honesty. And all they are left with is a wish to die, a wish to be taken away from all this, and hope that all their prayers to God, to the image of God, bring them heaven. What they don't understand is that heaven and hell exist here and now. If these are eternal places, which have no beginning or end, we are living in eternity. And therefore, how we live in that eternity determines whether we live in hell or in heaven. So if you want heaven, start now. You start now by stopping the intellect. quiet meditation. By coming to the point where you realize that your thoughts are not you, and they are not your master, and certainly they have no power over you unless you accede to it through doubt. That's the job of satanic conditioning, to make you doubt yourself. They do a damn good job of it, don't they? I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. There's no need for a new world order. That's all satanic nonsense. You give it to them by giving them your power, by giving them your life, by giving them the fruits of your labor. All these things are illusions, and they have it, and you don't. There is the beginning and the end of the haves and the have-nots, which have been with civilized society since the beginning of time. At the beginning of this talk, I told you that I was a living Christ. I'm sure it raised hackles in most of you. But if you listen to me, if you watched this video and looked at me, you know that I spoke to you the truth. I did not try to persuade you of anything. I merely spoke of what is and your place in it. You too can have that peace, the peace that nobody can take away from you. All you have to do is stop thinking the habitual thoughts that have left you as blind believers, depending upon other people to make decisions that only you can make. My website is arkenterprises.com, and Lisa Ray, Leesaray, enterprises.com, which is my spiritual site. There are many spiritual writings there. Up until now, there has not been too much interest in it. For the world is crazy. The world is nuts. The world is stupid. It's not ready to become intelligent. The world that we live in, the civilized world, is hell. Yes, you're in hell right now. And you aren't even aware of it. You're waiting for the time when you die and hope that you don't go to hell. You're in hell right now. All you got to do is get out of it. I have given you some secrets in this talk. If you really listened, you heard them. To many of you, the noise that has been going on in your head prevented you from listening to the subtlety of the truth of my words. That makes the difference for the quality of your life. I have told you all that I can at this point for those who have the eyes to hear, to see, and the ears to hear. For those who are still blind, still deaf, there's not a thing I can do for you. So, with that, I hope that many of you will feel the difference of what truth sounds like in communication. For I have nothing to gain by this. It doesn't cost you a thing. I'm merely sharing it with you if you're capable of receiving it. Thank you for your time.